Not every interview goes smoothly. Sometimes questions that seem simple can lead to tense confrontations, causing everything to explode live on television. These situations not only leave the audience stunned, but also create lasting impressions that viewers won't forget. Let's explore 17 interviews that started off as ordinary, but ended in unexpected battles that completely changed the course of the story. Not every interview goes smoothly. Sometimes questions that seem simple can lead to tense confrontations, causing everything to explode live on TV. What do you think about these situations? If you've ever been surprised by an interview, leave a 1, if not, comment 0. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and share the video to stay updated on shocking stories from TV shows. Leave 1 sub to support us. In July 2014, a live political debate was broadcast on a satellite channel in Jordan. The guests were journalist Sheikher Al-Jari and lawyer Sami Christ. The discussion focused on sensitive topics such as the Syrian civil war and the Gaza crisis. However, things suddenly escalated when Christ expressed his viewpoint. Al-Jari suddenly lost his composure and threw a bottle of water straight at Christ. Not stopping there, Al-Jari stood up, walked across the studio, grabbed a chair, and attempted to strike Christ with it. The host tried to intervene, but couldn't fully stop the situation. Fortunately, a crew member stepped in just in time and managed to calm things down before it escalated further. Before their famous rematch, Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier appeared together for a television interview. At first, everything seemed normal, with Ali joking as usual, calling Frazier by different names and bringing up their previous fight. However, Frazier became unhappy with Ali's comments. As Ali continued to joke, Frazier suddenly stood up, grabbed his microphone, and approached Ali. "Sit down, Joe," Ali said. "Why do you think that?" And immediately the two started fighting on the studio floor, while crew members rushed in to pull them apart. Andy Kaufman and Jerry Lawler appeared on Late Night with David Letterman. During the interview, Kaufman claimed that wrestling was all scripted and demanded an apology from Lawler. However, Lawler refused, stating that Kaufman had disrespected the sport and deserved to face the consequences. Kaufman responded, saying he could take legal action but wouldn't, as he only wanted an apology. Finally, Lawler lost his patience and slapped Kaufman live on air. Kaufman didn't back down, throwing a cup of coffee at Lawler before running off the set, screaming as the entire studio went silent. In 2011, Russian billionaire Alexander Lebedev, a former KGB agent, appeared on a talk show with businessman Sergei Polanski. The original plan was to discuss the economy, but things quickly escalated. Suddenly, Lebedev stood up and threw 2 punches, knocking Polanski out of his chair. Lebedev continued to swing at Polanski, knocking him to the ground, turning the conversation into total chaos. The audience was completely shocked, as they couldn't believe what was happening. Lebedev later explained that he reacted because he felt threatened by Polanski and wanted to prevent the situation from escalating further. However, the authorities did not accept this explanation. He was charged with political-motivated assault and could face up to 5 years in prison. Looking back, Lebedev admitted in an interview that he may have overreacted. He stated that he wasn't trying to cause trouble and described himself as a calm person, but his actions on camera told a different story. In the late 1980s, Al Sharpton and RHOA Innis were 2 influential voices in the civil rights movement. Although they fought for the same community, they had differing political views. Sharpton leaned toward liberal ideologies, while Innis held strong conservative opinions. Their long-standing differences came to a head in 1988 during an appearance on Morton Downey Jr.'s show. Sharpton began criticizing Innis for some of his controversial views, which immediately escalated the tension in the room. Innis, unable to tolerate it any longer, reacted fiercely, shouting and attempting to defend himself. Sharpton continued to interrupt, which only increased the tension. Suddenly, Innis became enraged and shoved Sharpton to the ground. Crew members quickly rushed in to break up the altercation, while Morton Downey Jr. tried to calm everyone down. In a live broadcast on 7 Stars TV, 2 Jordanian guests, journalist Sheikh Al-Jari and political analyst Mohammed Al-Jayusi, sat down to discuss the Syrian conflict. The discussion quickly spiraled out of control. Both men began arguing heatedly, and it didn't take long for things to turn violent. Before anyone could intervene, the shouting escalated into shoving. The 2 men leaned across the table, grabbing each other as the argument intensified. The host and crew rushed in to break up the altercation, but the table was nearly overturned during the struggle. In 1994, former NFL quarterback Jim Everett appeared on Talk 2, a sports show hosted by Jim Rome. Things started off on the wrong foot when Rome repeatedly mocked Everett, comparing him to a famous female tennis player and implying that Everett wasn't tough enough. However, Everett couldn't tolerate the jabs. As Rome continued to tease him, Everett reacted by shoving Rome to the ground live on air, causing chaos in the studio. From the very beginning of the interview, Everett had warned Rome to stop making those comments. "It would be better if you called me that one more time. We should take a break," he said. However, Rome tested his luck and repeated the comment. That's when Everett snapped. He jumped up, knocked over the table, and shoved Rome out of his chair. After the altercation, Rome admitted that he was wrong and attempted to apologize. He reached out to Everett several times, hoping they could reconcile, but Everett refused and didn't want anything to do with him. That unfortunate incident became an unforgettable moment in the career of New Orleans Saints quarterback Jim Everett. In 1994, Burt Reynolds was going through a tough period in his life. He had just gone through a messy divorce and appeared on The Tonight Show with Jay Leno. The initial idea was for Burt to share his story, but things started to fall apart when Leno made a few jokes about his personal life. It was clear that Burt was not happy with this teasing. Leno kept making jokes about Burt's private life, and although there was no ill intent, Burt seemed very displeased. Then, Mark Summers, known for hosting children's game shows, appeared and began talking about his own marriage. Whether intentional or not, Burt couldn't hold back, and things quickly escalated. Suddenly, Burt picked up his cup and poured the drink into Mark's lap. Mark attempted to react by throwing water back at Burt, but Burt immediately swatted his hand away. Just when it seemed like things were calming down, the situation worsened as they started throwing pies at each other right in the middle of the studio. This next showdown took place in a much smaller setting, but the tension was just as high. The incident occurred during an interview on the No Jumper podcast, and things escalated quickly. 16 Shot M arrived to interview Flacco. What started as a casual conversation quickly turned heated as it became clear that 16 Shot M was upset. He didn't like Flacco showing friendliness toward B-Man CO, someone with whom 16 Shot M had a significant rivalry. Man, you're way too worried. Who are you talking about? Are you talking about one person? 16 Shot M said. Flacco tried to explain that he was just trying to clarify things, but 16 Shot M wasn't having it. He felt Flacco was being fake and picking sides. The situation grew even more tense as 16 Shot M started calling Flacco out by name, accusing him of being an attention seeker who didn't keep things real. He also brought up some personal issues, like Flacco leaking his information and bothering him online. The argument grew louder, and things quickly spiraled out of control. "What's chasing fame?" 16 Shot M said. "Exactly." Then suddenly, 16 Shot M leaned in and spat at Flacco in frustration. And just like that, both of them started fighting within seconds, the situation escalating more than ever. This caught everyone off guard, as the argument unfolded so quickly that onlookers had to rush in to intervene. Similarly, before winning Grammy Awards and selling out concerts, Cardi B stood out for her authenticity in Love and Hip Hop New York. In a reunion episode, she didn't hold back. She confronted Asia Davies, who was dating Swift at the time. The tension between Cardi and Asia exploded after rumors surfaced about a relationship between Cardi and Swift. When asked about her relationship with Cardi, Asia initially remained silent, but it was clear that something was bothering her. Cardi didn't accept this and brought up messages that Asia had sent to Swift, accusing her of talking behind her back. Suddenly, Cardi took off her shoe and threw it directly at Asia, causing the confrontation to spiral out of control. What do you think about this situation? Who's right? Who's wrong? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and share the video to stay updated on the hottest and most dramatic stories in the entertainment world. Leave one sub to support us. Similar to Cardi B's reunion drama, the next incident was about slaps on a reality TV show. In 2018, Frazier, the head of the Albanian miners' union, appeared for an interview on television with Cole Nicola. The initial intention was to discuss workers' rights, but the argument quickly escalated. After a heated exchange, Ghibli stood up and slapped Nicola across the face. Nicola didn't sit back. He responded, standing up and pushing back. The host paused for a moment, unsure of how to react before quickly intervening in the situation. Next, in 1988, the Geraldo Rivera show hosted one of the most intense debates ever, featuring white supremacists, black civil rights leaders, and Jewish activists. The tension escalated when one of the white supremacist guests hurled a racist slur at Roy Innis. Roy Innis, the head of the Congress of Racial Equality, didn't sit still. He crossed the stage and grabbed the man by the collar. As soon as Roy grabbed him, all hell broke loose. The crowd rushed in, and in the midst of the chaos, Geraldo was hit in the face with a chair. His nose was broken and bleeding, but he didn't back down, continuing the show as if nothing had happened. Finally, Grayson Walker appeared on Sunrise for a light segment on wrestling. One of the hosts joked about him performing a move and suggested that the floor manager step in. However, Walker didn't appreciate that at all, and he reacted strongly, causing the atmosphere to become tense. He stood up and warned them that he wasn't going to pretend, stating that he would throw a real punch if provoked. Walker declared that if things continued this way, the police would be involved, as he had no intention of throwing a fake punch. "Like I'll punch you straight in the jaw," he said. The floor manager tried to ignore it, but Walker continued, calling him out and stating that he felt disrespected, demanding that he stop acting tough. The tension grew, but the host asked the floor manager to leave and quickly ended the segment before things could escalate further. "Man, you can take that trash talk and get out of here." The atmosphere became even more tense as Walker demanded the floor manager leave the set, clearly showing his frustration. The last time, things escalated due to a joke, but this time, just one comment turned the interview into a full-blown confrontation. In 1984, reporter John Staceile interviewed wrestler David Schultz. During the interview, Staceile said he thought wrestling was fake. Schultz didn't say much. He simply slapped Staceile, then slapped him again. Staceile was clearly shocked, unable to believe what had just happened, and later mentioned that the blows caused long-term damage to his ear. "Do you think that's fake? What's going on? Is it fake?" After David Schultz lost his temper due to Staceile's question, this time Vader couldn't hold back when his profession was questioned. During a television interview in Kuwait, the host asked if wrestling was real. Vader became enraged, grabbed the host, and shoved him back into his chair on the spot. The host was barely able to avoid the force of the push. This fight didn't happen in the ring, but on reality television. During a reunion of Real Housewives of Atlanta, everything took a sudden turn when Kenya Moore called out Portia Williams over rumors surrounding her relationship. It was a story that had been circulating in the media. As the argument intensified, Kenya pulled out a scepter and pointed it at Portia's face, making the atmosphere incredibly tense. Neither of them backed down, and it quickly escalated into shouting. One of the adults in the argument said, "What I'm not going to do is let you talk over me." As I mentioned, things got worse when Portia fired back, accusing Kenya of playing the victim while picking fights with others. Suddenly, Portia grabbed Kenya and pulled her to the floor. Staff members quickly intervened to break up the situation and de-escalate the conflict. Similar to the chaotic situations on reality TV shows, the next confrontation proves that even politics can turn into an all-out brawl. In Georgia, a live televised debate between Zaza Aglatzi from the Industrial Party and Iraqi Glanti from the People's State Party turned into a chaotic scene when Aglatzi suddenly threw a cup of water at his opponent. Glanti didn't stay silent. He immediately fought back, and within seconds, both men stood up, throwing water at each other and almost charging at one another. The host tried to intervene, but the situation had already spiraled out of control. Security had to step in while the cameras kept rolling. So here are 17 unforgettable moments when interviews turned into battlegrounds. Which incident shocked you the most? Or did we miss any epic clash that you think should have made the list? Share your thoughts with us in the comments below. Which interviews left you most surprised? If so, leave a 1. If not, comment 0. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and share the video to stay updated on shocking incidents from TV shows. Leave 1 sub to support us.